What's the first thing you do when you see something, when you observe something that's different, that's off? Do you judge it or does it bring about more curiosity? Do you start going down a rabbit hole? That's what I realize that I actually do. When I see something that's off or that has grabbed my attention, I don't judge, but I analyze. I get into my critical thinking. And that's exactly what happened over the past few weeks. I went out of town, I went to someone's home, and then I saw something. And I saw it wasn't a strategy, but it was just a mode, a method. And I started thinking, like, oh, okay, that's why they do this. That's why they do that. We have to get out of just judging people, get out of that mode, and really start trying to understand the why behind what we see. What I have realized is that there are 4 different types of people. And it's not necessarily their personality, but it's a habit. And that's what I want to speak to you all today about. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the KimUnity Soulutions podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the workplace. There are 4 types of people, and this is my observation. You know, I am Kim, the SME, the speaker of my experiences. This is about what I experience, what my thought process is, and then I share it with you to see if you can relate to it or not. And that's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to not share the same thoughts, the thought process, the ideas, any of that. It's about listening. It's about trying to understand. It's about perspectives, okay? Let's get into it. I was over at someone's house, and just how they act, how they move, what was being collected, what was around them, what surrounded them, what made them feel comfortable, made me realize that there are people out there that are grabbers. What do I mean by grabbers? Everything they come into contact with, or something they love, or they have a connection to, they grab it and they don't want to let go. They have to hold it. They feel that if they let go, they won't get it back, or nothing else will come to them. This is all they have, almost like this is their last chance, their last resort, the only solution. And as I was observing that, I said, well, that's not me. What am I? Because again, I'm not judging, I'm observing. And so if they act like this, if this is what they do, what do I do? And I started thinking about the multiple possibilities. And I came up with 3 others, so a total of 4. The second is swingers. And I just want you to visualize that. What does swingers look like? I'm thinking about the bars on the playground. Some people call them monkey bars, right? I didn't want to say that, but yes, the monkey bars. You are swinging from one bar to another. As you are holding on to another one, you get the momentum to reach for the next. And that is when you let go of the other. And so that's what I realized. Wow, some people always hold on and never let go, which were the grabbers. And the next were the swingers that will hold on, but they have to be so calculated. They have to see what they're about to get before they feel comfortable in releasing and letting go to receive the next thing. Are you any one of these 2 so far? When you look around your home, when you look at how you operate in your family, or even in the workplace? Are you the person that has to hold on to the information because you feel like if you let this go, then you're useless? There's no point of having you. That you have to be the sole knowledge, what they used to call me, the subject matter expert. That you have to hold on to it, because if you let go, you will lose your position. You will lose your status. You will lose your title. Or are you a swinger, someone who does not mind letting go, but you have to see clearly. You have to be calculated. You don't want to take risk. It's a calculated risk. This is how my mind works. And so as I start to really think about this, I said, okay, well, what is the next layer? And the next layer was, what did I call it? The drifter. The drifter. There are people out there. Tell me if it is you. Are you the type that just want to be free? Not even want to, you are free. You don't hold on to anything. You know that you are walking in your purpose, and whatever you come to will work out. There's more freedom with being a drifter. But you also have there's no direction. You are, I don't know what else to say, but free. You don't cling on to anything. You don't have a lot of responsibilities, because you can move without having to be responsible for so much. And what I visualize is, maybe you don't have any children. Nothing against that. Again, this is a no judgment zone, but you don't have any children. Or even if you did, it's a come and go as you please. There's less restriction. There's less rules. There's a learn as you go. And if you're that type of person, you really don't understand how people operate that can't let go, and vice versa. People that can't let go, those grabbers, they couldn't fathom being a drifter. They are comfortable where they are, and that is it. What is around them, and that is it. They don't have to get anything new. And even if they get something new, they will hold on to the old as well. But the problem with that is, how can you grab for something new if you have a closed fist? You can't grab. You can't grab onto anything. So you're stuck with old blessings. You're stuck with old blessings. You can't get anything larger, anything greater, and then you're just stockpiling. The grabber, the swinger, the drifter. Now, I know for sure I'm not a drifter. Even when I leave the house, let's say I have 4 places to go, I am planning which direction I'm going, how I can do it most efficiently. That's just the way my mind works. That's the way that I work methodically. Methodically. I hope I'm saying that right, but that's the method. That is my gift. I am able to work on something and then find a way to make it easier, make it more efficient, make it better. I'm always looking to improve. But if you're a drifter, you really don't do that. You're experiencing it as it comes. You flow through it. It's like a plane. How I visualize it right now is like a plane going through the clouds. If you've ever been in a plane and then all of a sudden you're in the clouds and then it's all white. If you look out the windows, it's all white. And then all of a sudden the clouds are gone. You can see clearly. You just keep moving through it. Everyone can't do that. Understand what your gifts are. Understand how you operate. Understand your mode of operation. And then there's those who are open-handed. They're open-handed. They don't want to grab anything. They don't want to grab anything. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want the task. They don't want to be tied down. And it's more out of fear. There's a difference between being a drifter and being an open-hander. Because a drifter can open and close whenever they please. They just move effortlessly. On the outside looking in, an open-hander looks like a drifter. But really it is a fear. Maybe they've been hurt before, so they don't want to get into another relationship. Or they've lost a job before, so they don't want to get too comfortable. And you may see yourself in a little bit of both of these, in a little bit of a multiple of these. Because when I just said that, that made me think back to when I was in corporate. And because of the challenges that I had, again, this is why I do what I do, right? But because of the challenges I had, I didn't want to get comfortable. I wasn't bringing pictures. I wasn't bringing anything. I'd have some hand sanitizers, some lip gloss, because I got to have my lipstick. But I didn't get comfortable. People, when I would look around and people were bringing plants and family photos, and I mean, it was like their living room. And for me, number one, that's just not my personality. You will never know what my family look like. I don't want you to get too comfortable. I don't want you to think that you know me. And that's something that I probably have to go to counseling for. I don't know. But it's how I was brought up. You don't bring all of that to the workplace, which is why I do what I do, because there's so many different misunderstandings and misperceptions about people and how they act. You think it's because of one way when really it's another. But those open-handers, they don't want to grab a hold of anything. They don't want to grab something and then fall in love with it and then lose it. It's the hurt of having and then not having. Which one of these four are you? Which one of these four are you? And if you can think of another example, share it. Share it. If you can think of another personality, then do it. Think of it. It is all about perspectives. And the reason why I do this podcast, the reason why I do this is because I believe that we all that we all have our own ways of thinking. And we have different perspectives based off of our own individual experiences and lack of experiences, inexperience. I'll put it like that. But collectively, we can create unifying solutions. Because if I can put together what my thoughts are, and then you do the same, based off of our differences, based off of our similarities, we can create a much better solution. That's why it's Soulution. It's solutions with souls in mind. So I really just want you to think about that. These four ways are not really about what we're holding on to and what we're letting go. But it's really about how you're being positioned, how you are positioning yourself for next. How are you positioning yourself for next? Are you in a lack mindset? Are you in an abundance mindset? Are you leaving room for grace and for blessings? Do you think that you know everything? How can you be a swinger? And I'm talking to myself because this is probably the majority of where I fit in, is being a swinger, holding on to something and then letting go when I see something else. It's not always the case because I am a believer. I do have faith, but there is that balance. I am human. I am making decisions constantly. I do want to be comfortable in my calculated decisions, but I know that I don't know what's before me. So that's when faith comes in. That's when faith comes in. Where do you need to work? Where do you need to improve? At the end of this episode, I would love for you to comment below and share which type you are, why you think you got there, and what it cost you to stay there. I told you, I believe that I'm a swinger. I believe I got there because I've lost before. I mean, and you can just pick an area. Let's say credit. I remember going to school, going away to college. And of course, my dad said, don't apply for any credit cards and all that, but they were all on campus. And so I applied for all these credit cards. And sure enough, I wasn't able to keep up with all the bills. American Express, I didn't know you had to pay for the full balance at one time. And that was back then. And so you grow up after you get out of that, funk, I'll call it a funk. After you get out of that, then you can be fearful of it and say, okay, I'm never going to do that again. I've learned my lesson. But what lesson are you learning? That is the key. What lesson are you learning? Are you just going to avoid it, where the open hander comes in? Or are you going to learn how to use it wisely, do it wisely, start wisely? What does it cost you to stay there? Well, if I stay as a swinger and I never let go until I see something, my arm is going to get tired. I'm going to fall off from what I have, because a swinger is holding on to one swing into the next. How long are you going to hold on to one? How much strength do you have? What happens when it's raining? What happens when it's snowing? What happens when it's hot? You're just going to lose everything that you already have instead of moving to that next level. Oh my gosh, I'm speaking to myself right now. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. And not because you think you're better than them or your way is better than theirs. That's not it. But somebody who needs to open their mind and see, okay, where can I work on? Where am I at? Where do I want to be? How do I get there? What am I doing now that is preventing me from getting there? If you are a grabber, if you never want to let go of what you already have, that's like you bought furniture 5 years ago and you see a sofa and you want to buy it. And so you buy it. Now you have 3 sofas in your living room. And then you see this other chair, this love chair, or this, what is it called? A day bed. So you buy that. So now you just have all these different types of furniture in your home. You never let go of what you had originally. You get things and don't replace them. You are just adding to. You are adding to. That's more things to take care of. That means that you're not letting go of anything. That means you're not blessing somebody else in need, or selling it to pay for what you've already bought. How do you let new energy in if your hands are always closed? How do you let God in if your hands are always closed? You can't even go like this. In the workplace, let me share some stats with you. In the workplace, 73% of HR leaders say their employees are fatigued from change. 62% of workers say they are experienced more change at work in the past year than the year before. 62% of workers. There should be change, but what kind of change is it? There has to be growth. If you are a grabber, you're not going to like any type of change. You want to stay in that same position until you retire. You don't want to look for anything else. But when there's motion and there's movement and there's trials, you don't think of it as, okay, this is how I elevate. This is my opportunity to move around. This is my opportunity to elevate. This is my opportunity to seek that promotion. I see that position is open now. Now is my time to go for it. No, these are the people that say, I'd rather stick with the devil I know than the devil I don't. I'm not sure if you've heard about that. I'm not sure if you've heard that saying. I didn't hear that until I was in corporate. And basically what that means is that I already know who I'm working with right now. I already know what their expectations are. I've got them dialed in. I'm comfortable. But going over in this direction, that's a different type of person. I'm going to have to figure all of that out. There's going to be some uncomfortability. So that's where the devil I know versus the devil I don't. Again, this podcast is all about leadership within and beyond the workplace, because when we go to work, we're not leaving ourselves at home. We're not leaving ourselves in the parking lot. We are taking everything that we've experienced and who we are everywhere we go, including the workplace. So why just get into work and just think that everybody's perfect? And that's where we go wrong. People are going through things. People are experiencing things. That's why their productivity is going up and decreasing. That's why they're not the same person as when you met them a few months ago. Something has happened. Maybe they've had a death in the family. Maybe now they have their stepson or stepdaughter, and I don't like to say step, has moved in with them. So there's some adjustments going. Maybe they're having problems with their teens. That's why they have to get home. We have to be able to understand the people that we are around. That is why I do what I do. That is also why I have these questions and perspectives conversation cards. If you get a chance, check them out.
Are you tired of meeting someone new and having to engage in boring, energy-draining small talk? According to a survey conducted by Ken Coleman, 71% of Americans actually prefer silence when compared to small talk. The thing is, you're not antisocial, and we can't blame everything on being an introvert. You're just plain bored. What if I told you there's a solution to break this awkward cycle when you meet someone new? If what we have said is speaking to you, what you need is KimUnity Soulutions question and perspective cards. These cards were made by public speaker and KimUnity founder Kimberly Knight. They are designed to spark clarity, connection, and creativity through powerful, open-ended questions. They are built for transformation and challenging assumptions, surfacing new perspective, and nurturing collective wisdom. The questions and perspective cards have been used by many people in both their professional and personal lives. They are perfect for couples, team meetings, leadership retreats, coaching, conversating with your friends and family, and they make for great icebreakers when conversing with someone new. Let's move beyond default dialogue and have conversations that go deeper and build connections. Buy your deck today.
Honestly, this was a tough question that got me thinking.
Okay, good.
Because at first I was like, can I throw this card and try to pull another one? Because I really thought that this was going to be, this is what really made me think. But a really good experience.
I enjoyed the cards because they're icebreakers, and I really feel like sometimes people don't know what to say in like small groups, and it gets the conversation started. I really enjoyed it. It's nothing like it on the market, and she has some really interesting questions. So I would definitely highly recommend.
These cards are wonderful. It will be a great time with the family. Not only identifying things about yourself, but you get to learn each other about things about each other. So if you're ever looking at it for a great card game to interact, and just interconnect with your family or your friends.
I would say where I'm headed in life is a life of adventure and a creative life, and showing people how to live creatively as well and to not be afraid of that.
Every year in November, in December, in September, actually, I start setting my goals for the next year. Okay. So my theme is Purpose 2025. Okay. Change the narrative. I'm headed towards purpose.
I guess most definitely what they like as far as the style, their originality, and also like the level of comfort. It should be a factor just depending on the setting. Okay.
I will put the link in the comments, in the description. They're clean, they're for all environments, and it's really about getting to understand the people that you're around and allowing them to open up at their pace. Now, the swing, so I've talked about the grabbers in the workplace not wanting to move, wanting to hold on and stay steady. But the swingers in the workplace, those are your leaders. They are the ones that don't want to panic. They move to a certain pace. They think it through, sometimes to their detriment, because you can be thinking too long. Colin Powell had a saying, I can't remember. It's been so long since I read the book, but I can't remember exactly what he said. I'm gonna have to look that up again, so I will remember it. But he basically said, if you wait until you have, and I'm probably get this wrong now, so don't quote me. But basically what he's saying is that if you wait until you have 75 or 85% of the information, you've waited too long. The opportunity has already gone. And of course, he's coming from a military background. Okay, but your swingers, those are your leaders. Those are the ones that are prepared. They don't leave quietly. They leave prepared. They make sure they have their ducks in a row. And if you've listened to my previous episodes, you will hear me say, hey, before you leave, make sure you get those letters of recommendation. Build your network while you're there. So when you leave, you already have something. You're building as you leave, and they are remembering you. It's fine. I know a lot of people jump from job to job to job to job. That's fine. But everybody doesn't do that. And when you do that, what legacy are you leaving? What do people remember you from? What have you conquered? What have you resolved? What have you improved that they will want to remember you? What have you made it through? Okay, the drifter in the workplace, they are carefree. I don't know, maybe they're the ones that get drunk at happy hour. I don't know. It definitely wouldn't be the grabber because they want to keep their job. I don't think it would be the swinger. You tell me, which one of you are the ones that don't mind sharing your personal life or don't mind letting everyone see your unprofessional side? Those are the drifters. They are always looking like they are living the dream. They avoid the discomfort. There is no discomfort. They are always exploring. So there's a quote that I found. His first name is Paulo. Last name, I'm not sure. I would say is Coelho. And he says, freedom is not the absence of commitments, but the ability to choose and commit myself to whatever that is best for me. So it's not the absence of commitments, it's the ability to choose whenever, wherever, whatever, however I want it to be. I love that. I love that. The open hander in the workplace. They are the ones that believe that if I don't hold on, I can never lose. They may even think, why hold on? It's going to be gone anyway. That may just be it. Like I said before, it looks like they're drifters, but really they are in a different mental state. Their hands are open, not from the mindset of abundance, but from protection, from not having. I'd rather not have than to have and to lose. Why go through that? This is what I'm feeling like they are thinking. These are the ones in the workplace that don't advocate for themselves. They won't go for the promotion. They won't even get upset that they aren't thought about because they already had the mindset of they weren't good enough or they weren't going to get it anyway. I don't know if this is woe is me. I don't know. But after saying all of this, I want to assign you with the work of identifying which one you are. And if there's a category that you believe should be added to this list, leave it in the comments. Share your perspective. That is what it's all about. Which one are you? How did you become that? And what has it cost you? Do you need to change? I'm glad I was finally able to get that thought out. That's something that I have been thinking about for over a week or two now. And I actually recorded just a snippet, but I was working with this new camera and I went to edit it and I deleted the wrong portion. So it was just a hot mess, but I'm glad that I was able to actually sit here with you and really think it through. Really get those thoughts out and to make it plain. But now I want to hear from you. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Share. If you believe somebody is a drifter and you send this to them and they say, no, actually, I'm a swinger, then have that conversation. Learn more about the people around you. We are who makes the world go round. You have been listening to the KimUnity Soulutions podcast. I am your host, Kim the SME. Until next week, you all be blessed. Bye-bye.